Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
From bat tips to bat nips, we are just cool boys revisiting Batman, the animated series, and wearing hats. This is Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast.
I see Batman and Beyond.
Greetings, Cool Boy Nation, and welcome to another installment of Batman and Beyond.
Woo woo!
A Cool Boys podcast. I'm Ballard.
And I'm Steve.
So cool. Tonight's episode is Off Balance, directed by Kevin Altieri, and written by the returning Len Wein, from Wolverine and Swamp Thing fame, and he did
cool.
the werewolf episode a few weeks back, Moon of the Wolf.
He's written some good episodes.
This episode came out November 23rd, 1992, and this week's villains are Count Vertigo and Talia. Just Talia. No, no additional information there, just Talia. It's not like they don't have, they've spoiled multiple times who the villains are. What was it, Mad Hatter for one random episode where you're not supposed to know who the villain is, or maybe Bruce is actually in this alternate or whatever the fuck is going on, alternate reality. It's the episode when he dreams. What is it called? Dreams in Darkness, Perchance to Dream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Wikipedia's like, it's the Mad Hatter, but here they're like, Talia, who knows what her last name is?
Well, it's a kind of a mystery, I guess, like for this episode. They don't even mention Ray. They just show him at the end.
Yeah, they never call him by name. He's only mentioned as my father by Talia, and Talia is like quite legitimately a femme fatale.
Oh yeah.
In this, I mean,
this
she
is definitely
full-on
a mystery.
Film noir femme fatale.
If you don't know anything about the comics and the way they introduce her, at first you think that maybe she's good, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, so when I was a kid watching this, yeah, I thought that, but and then I was like, what? By the twist at the end. This time watching it, even knowing the twist at the end, or even knowing who Talia al Ghul is, and the fact that there should be a twist at the end, it was great because we can get into this later, but you see the groundwork laid out. Like, you actually see those moments where it's like, oh shit, look, oh shit, there it is, oh shit, there's a clue, oh there's another clue. And the clues are there in this episode about who she is and her villainy if you're looking.
What's funny though is that this is a good episode, but then the next episode that they introduce Ra's al Ghul, they've decided that Batman's going to be the heir or something, and that's from this interaction, and that's kind of weird. They really,
yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right. I didn't really think of it that way, but now that you mention that, if I kind of what if the next few episodes
they're just watching him?
Yeah, they're watching him. So what the episode after this is The Man Who Killed Batman, which would not look favorably towards Batman.
Well, if he's pretending, yeah.
Right, yeah, look at him pretend, right? Look at him pretend that he's dead. So this guy said the Squid gets all the credit. And then there's Mudslide with Clayface, and then Paging the Crime Doctor with Rupert Thorne, and then there's the Zatanna episode, then there's the Mechanic episode, and then there's the Joker Harley and Poison Ivy episode. So I mean, maybe throughout those episodes,
if we see any sort of hints of him watching,
we'll have to watch with new eyes, Steve.
But I feel like it's basically they had some other elaborate plans, and then suddenly, after meeting Batman, they're like, you know what? We need to change everything, and he's going to be the heir apparent, or whatever.
Right. Or maybe they were like, we'll set up this Count Vertigo to test Batman, like you mentioned earlier, right? And they're like, wow, he's good. I guess he's good. But then when Talia's all like, I betrayed you, and Batman's like, I know, I knew it, I saw it coming, and that's when Ross was like, whoa, he's really good. He should be my heir.
Maybe. But I feel like they didn't really know, part of the twist was that Vertigo didn't know Talia's association. They were fighting her just as much.
We have literally talked so much about this episode, and we haven't actually watched any of it.
Well, it's a good episode. I think this is, obviously this shows that this is a good one.
Wikipedia says, after all of that belaborment by the two of us, Wikipedia says, while following Count Vertigo's trail, Batman encounters Talia, daughter of the head of the Society of Shadows, who was sent by her father to prevent the capture of a sonic drill that the Count stole. But after his identity is mistakenly revealed to Talia, Batman remains off balance. As to where her true loyalties lie. I love that this Wikipedia writer was like, ha! I'm going to put the titular line in my fucking description. There's a note here, Steve. This episode is a direct adaptation of Into the Den. Are you chewing right now? Are you eating? Are you eating? What are you fucking, what are you, Tyler Durden? What are you doing? Yeah, you're just eating on this episode. You're so cool. Hey, that's cool, boys. So, this episode is a direct adaptation of Into the Den of the Death Dealers from Detective Comics 411 from May 1971 by Denny O'Neil, with art by Bob Brown. And this story is famous for the first appearance of the character Talia al Ghul. All right, let's.
I thought super cool.
Yeah, you fucking eater. Cool Boy Nation's gonna love listening to that on their end.
I'm done. Oh, I had one other thing I wanted to say, but I this was a good episode. You know, from the start, just with like, I felt like the stakes were up when they have Batman talking to this informant, and they have this like, you know, kind of ninja society.
Why does he have the informant meet him on somewhere that has obviously like a closing time, has security guards around? Why would you go to the Gotham's Lady Liberty?
Yeah, you know, the Statue of Liberty. You know, it was interesting, but I liked how
at the very tippity toppity too, right by the torch.
And then they basically they kill him, right? They just throw him off and throw him in the water.
Well, okay, so what you see is you see him fall to his death, quote unquote, right, Steve, into this water from the top of the fucking Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, that'd kill him.
That would kill him. But then he bounces out of the water for a second, and then he goes back underneath again, never to be seen again.
No, I'm pretty sure Batman was like that. You know, his reaction was basically like, "You killed him." Like, I can't believe you guys did that. And then the thing I was surprised about is when I thought they killed themselves when they did that.
They did.
No,
it's
Batman
two
said,
legit deaths this time with mind erasing gas.
Batman said memory erasing gas. If he did it, that was totally. I think they had to throw in that line because otherwise,
I think they had to write that in because it's like they killed themselves.
Just killing themselves. I was like, wow, this one is serious. They are. This is going to be a good one. You know, it starts out like that.
So as a kid, I did not catch the mind erasing gas part. So I just assumed as a kid they died. So when I knew this episode was coming up, I was like, finally, I'm going to be able to go 2 legit deaths this time, Steve. But then I was like, oh shit, they actually do say mind erasing gas. Like, wait, so that just fucking makes them catatonic or some shit? I guess.
That's what I think. You know, to me, it looked at first like they died.
So we're talking about the Society of Shadows Assassins.
Yeah.
Now, Christopher Nolan put them in his film, Batman Begins, and eventually The Dark Knight Rises. He called them the League of Shadows.
That's their name in the comics.
In the comics, they're called the League of Assassins.
League of Assassins. Yeah, you're right.
So, okay, so I like how like Christopher Nolan, who did his movie after this, was like, oh shit, Society of Shadows got big because of fucking Batman the Animated Series, and League of Assassins is the actual name. I'll combine them, make an amalgamation of the two. But why the fuck did Batman the Animated Series take something called League of Assassins and just go Society of Shadows? Like, it doesn't make any sense. They could have done League of Shadows.
Maybe there was some sort of licensing issue.
Well, I can understand them not wanting to maybe call them like something assassins. Like the assassins, I can see them being like, that's too much.
Yeah, maybe Society of Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of puts it more in the realm of Ra's al Ghul maybe not being like a bad guy, you know.
Yeah, that they're like maybe vigilantes, crime fighting in the shadows.
They live in the shadows, kind of like what Batman does and stuff.
Well, I mean, not to like really get into it too much, but like if you get to the Ra's al Ghul episodes or Ra's al Ghul episodes, I like to say Ra's. It's the first time I'll get into this then, especially. It was the first time I was ever watching anything as a child, where I watched the villain, and he gave his like, you know, his soliloquy, right, his monologue about why he wanted to do what he wanted to do, which was quote unquote bad. And it was the first time as a kid I went, holy shit, you won me over. like it makes sense, Ross. Like, it totally makes sense. Like, yeah, the fucking world sucks and people are destroying it, and maybe the only way to fix it is to, like, resort it back to a primal age, you know, where, like, you bring back, like, nature, essentially. And, like, I was like, that would be fucking crazy. And I agree with you, kind of, in a weird way.
That seems to be, like, a common thing. I don't know if it's born out of this, but I've seen that where a lot of villains that these, like, megalomaniacs or whatever want to destroy the world to bring it because of the same sort of reasoning, you know, to do it over, you know, and do it over in their name and whatnot. There's a few. But, yeah, I like this episode, going back to this one, where it's just basically a interesting sort of detective story, and just Batman he just kind of gets caught up in the middle of this. You know, it starts off with him trying to find out who the shadows are, and he just gets all pissed off because
he gets caught up looking for one shadow specifically with some huge titties and a fine ass.
And
Talia al Ghul, as soon as he lays eyes on her, it's like Selena Kyle who? He is fucking infatuated immediately.
I mean, who wouldn't be? And I mean, and it was also because seemed like she saved him, but she also helps Vertigo. You just don't know which one
where her loyalties lie.
Yeah, from the get-go.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's a very, very great character. And Steve, and just something for Talia al Ghul, she is played by Helen Slater, who was Supergirl in the movie in 1984. The Warner Brothers film, and she plays Supergirl's Earth Mother in the current TV series.
Very cool. But that Vertigo effect was awesome. Like, when they first show it, they did a really, really cool job.
It was. And you know what it reminds me of?
What?
Trippin' balls.
Well, Batman, so what was cool was that they've shown the Vertigo effect twice. You know, and it was like the Vertigo effect affected Bullock and all the other ones, but Batman knew what to do. He just ran straight and was able to still knock him over.
Yeah, you walked right through that. You didn't let me distract you with my balls.
I can ignore you.
Yay! Steve, I have a quick question for you here. So Count Vertigo says when he's stealing the gun from Wayne Tech or whatever, right? He's like, and I think your drill will do nicely. And then Batman comes out and goes, and I think you'll do 10 to 20 in Stonegate minimum. Steve, can Batman give out sentencing like that?
What do you mean?
He gave Count Vertigo 10 to 20 in Stonegate.
Well, no, he's
I don't think
just
Batman
throwing
can do
out
that.
like, you know, like kind of like police officers will do. Doesn't mean that they can say that you're going to go to jail for life. That doesn't mean that they're actually going to go to jail for any time, but they can threaten it.
So Steve, we move into Act 2 of this episode, and there's something really cool I want to point out to you. We see Alfred polishing the giant penny from Two-Face's story.
Oh, yeah.
And almost got him.
The continuity.
Yeah, I like that. So there is continuity, which I think we discussed last episode. Sometimes it's a little wary where it lies. But this one, they're like, hey, no, he's polishing the coin that literally Two-Face told the group while playing poker. They gave the coin to Batman. Well, there's Batman, and he's fucking polishing that bad boy up. Then, Steve, you see Batman going like this. He's typing like this with one finger on each hand.
Old man typing.
But he's like pushing one button, and he's lifting his hands like 2 feet off the fucking like keyboard, and he goes back down. It's the most awkward thing, and it's like, what? What is going on? He's typing like that?
I'm not sure if it's like a real keyboard, like it's like with letters, or it's like some sort of weird like.
I don't care. This is a weird ass motion. This is like someone who does not like know how to use a keyboard back in like 1982.
You right now, though. So right now you're miming with your fingers that you're.
Yeah. And then we go and find Batman. Goes, you know, he's like Alfred, you're a genius. Yeah, no, left to right. I was looking west, but my head was turned around, so I must have been looking east. Wait, what the fuck are you talking about?
Once again,
how do you mean you were turned around on fucking magnetic directions? You know, like north, east, south, and west.
Because of the vertigo.
He was so fucking vertigoed up. Vertigo gives it a name, or no, Batman gives it a name, dizzifying trick. It's what he calls it. He calls it your dizzifying trick. It's like, that's a technical term there, Batman, dizzifying. Anyways, so Batman's like, dude, and he's like, Alfred, genius. So he's like, let's check east, and he hits his keyboard with his big old fucking finger again, dude, and it's like, and suddenly it's like a house. So he's like, nope. And then he hits doom, and he looks at it again, and suddenly it's another house. So he's like, nope. And then doom, and it's a fucking castle. And he goes, there it is. There it is. That's where they are. And then it's like fucking Darth Vader level of retardation, like Empire Strikes Back, where he goes, that's it. The rebels are there. And then the Imperial officer's like, my lord, there's so many, systems. The rebels could be literally anywhere. Like, he goes, no, they're right there. But Lord Vader is using the Force to tell him. Batman doesn't have the Force. So he's just like, the third option that comes on screen, there it is. That's it. Let's go. Well, he's right. He is right. What, are you all right? Is that too much for you?
That was hardcore. Yeah, you really went into it there.
It did. It was stupid.
Like, really?
It was
really
stupid. Like, they've shown smarter connections in the Riddler episodes. That's to be like, wait, my head was turned around, so east was west. Woo!
I liked how Alfred was able to, he reminded him of that. He said, you're not going to be able to tell one hand from the other. He's like, you genius.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Or know how to type there, Bruce. Do.
Well, through all all you're talking, Batman is, while watching the episode, Batman made it to the island or wherever he was going, and he got captured.
The castle.
And this was one of the only moments where his identity is revealed. That's a big.
Yes. Absolutely.
And,
yeah,
it's like the only time someone cares. I feel like all the other times, these villains.
She acts like a sane human being is what you mean, Steve, where she's like, oh, I have to take care of this guy, and he's got a mask on. I'll remove it to take care of his wounds.
No, I mean, like, the other villains, whenever they are left alone, have all gotten opportunities. Batman's been knocked out, I'd say, in every episode that we've seen. And,
almost.
They've all had opportunities to check what's under the mask.
Mm-hmm. I think it's only been maybe once or twice where they've actually made like a point to like say why not to.
Yeah.
Like I think one time his mask was electrocuted. I might be blending movies with TV show right now, and I think there's like another time they were like, "Don't worry about it. It's no big deal." But before they get captured, right, and they fall into the pit, it's very clearly choreographed or echoed. Throughout this previous scene where Batman's got his binoculars out and he's looking at Talia walk through the forest, he's looking at these like Society of Shadows assassins, and they're staring directly at Batman. And he looks at one guy to the far right, way to the far right, and he's like staring at Batman. And looks at another guy to the right of Talia, and he's staring at Batman. And then he looks at Talia, and there's even a moment where she like kind of does like a head nod up, like she's looking up real quick. So all these people are looking at Batman. And then there are moments where it looks like the punches are thrown, right? Like they're kind of like purposely thrown to like not connect hard, or that they're silly and stupid moves that happen. And then when they break open the earth with the drill that they use on Talia and Batman, quote unquote, when they show Batman and Talia lying on the ground after they've fallen through the pit closes like a door.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, okay. So it wasn't like the ground broke apart and they fell into some kind of chasm. They purposely fell into a holding cell.
Yeah.
Of some
oh well.
sort.
Yeah. It seemed like it was like quote unquote captured. At this point, it was like what I looked at it was like a training exercise or something that Talia was like running through and was showing like knocking them out or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was that in sense that guys were gonna spar right now, but everyone bring your A game because Batman's gonna be here and you know it needs to look legit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of how I saw it. I don't think it was like an actual training exercise though, if you know what I mean. Like I think it was a stage play essentially they put on for Batman.
Yeah, I think it was one or the other.
No, because that's why I think the guys were like looking at Batman's direction because
I think
the
he was
men
supposed to be
earlier
far
on to the
away
far
enough
right,
that
they should have been looking to the left, right? For Batman's perspective, they should have been looking to the left or to their right at Talia, but they're not.
Well,
And if they're quote unquote following Talia to attack her, then why are they like not looking at her? They're looking directly at Batman. I mean, it is very clearly, and there is a moment where Talia like does this look up where she looks at Batman and looks down. And then there's the moments in the castle where Talia like just knows a little fucking too much.
no, it's obvious that Talia is part of this league or whatever, and that
It's not obvious at first when you're like 10 or 12 like watching this.
I know, but I mean, watching it now.
Oh yeah, I'm watching it now, but it's purposeful. They literally had animation in there for these like little intricacies, like these little details where it was like Talia does a nod up when she's walking and looks up at Batman and then looks back down. Like there are moments like that in this.
I thought that she saw Batman, but I didn't think that the society or those assassins were looking at Batman. Batman was supposed to be kind of above them, and I thought they were like looking forward or whatever.
No, they're looking like straight at his lenses. Like they are like it is the most direct head-on looking right at you, Batman. And I definitely caught it this time.
Well, I'd have to rewind it, but I don't think so.
Oh, rewind back, check it out.
All right.
And then we have of course going into Act 3 a Steve sponsored cliffhanger act break where Vertigo is using his Dizzifying trick, as Batman liked to refer to it as, and Talia and Bruce, Steve, they just start moaning, like they just start making like the actors, Helen Slater and Kevin Conroy just start making these very sexual guttural noises. And I was thinking to myself, this must be exactly what it's like to be a fly on the wall during their honeymoon when they're making Damien, when Damien's conceived. Like, this is what it sounds like, that moaning. You take that little clip of that moaning and you loop it, and it's essentially like audio sex of Batman and Talia.
Yeah, see, I think that he was watching them watch Talia.
But if they're watching Talia, they should be looking to their right.
That's just poor animation. I don't think that's the way they're setting up is that
all this poor animation for the last 50 episodes is paid off finally in perfect, intricate details in this one.
I just do not think that.
No, this is storytelling like at its finest.
All
like,
right.
This perspective, this crafting.
Now I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
No, there is effort put into the crafting of this show, and this is one of those moments that they put effort in.
I don't think so. I think you're pretty.
No, you're wrong. I will not settle. I will not settle for anything less than I am absolutely right.
It wouldn't make any sense for Batman to like move on if he's like looks at them and they're looking like at each other and he's like, oh shit, I've been found. And
it's
just,
weird.
Like, just
no, but Bruce
on.
talks about it later. He's like, Talia, I knew you were back because of all these clues.
It's just supposed to be that he's watching them like track Talia, and then he's like seeing Talia get tracked by them, and then that's what's getting him to be like, I'm gonna help protect her, because she's getting.
Okay. Maybe they're so far to the right that it's like they're like 90 degrees to the right, and Batman's turning 90 degrees, and that's why it looks like they're okay.
I can't believe we're arguing over this.
Maybe I will say maybe you're right, but I will definitely like to say that I'm right.
I'm glad that you are so reasonable that you will say maybe, because
hey,
I know that I'm right and
person.
I know you're wrong. So yeah.
They call me Reasonable Ballard because they call me Compromised Ballard.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
Who's they?
Everyone.
Who?
Fuck you. You say it all the time too.
No, I don't.
So, anyways, back to the episode at hand, or what we're watching. So there's a moment where Batman and Talia are chasing, Count Vertigo. Vertigo, as they call him in this episode, up the stairs in the clock tower, and Talia looks at one point and she's like, I can't take it anymore because the Vertigo Dizzifying effect is too intense, and she just jumps. And Batman's like, Talia, no! Because he thinks she's leapt to her death because she's trying to avoid the dizzyfying effect of Vertigo's,
Yeah.
like, eye. He's just like, no, what are you doing? You can't, don't do it, But she ends up actually doing something incredibly smart, ringing the fucking bells,
bell.
which shatter your fucking eardrums.
They really like ringing that bell. So it's like they ring it, then after he falls to his death or to his doom or whatever, they just keep ringing the bells. It kept going.
Okay, Vertigo better have fallen into a deep moat. He falls like maybe 700 feet
I'm pretty
into
sure he
like
died.
a shallow moat that's like maybe 6 feet wide. Like, this guy died when he impacted
sure.
very quickly the bottom of the moat.
For sure. No, he's dead.
And now we're watching Ra's al Ghul be introduced. And, obviously Batman tricked Talia, who she thought, was tricking him. He disabled the electronic drill gun. And it didn't work for her. And that was that. And we get Ra's al Ghul introduced, not by name, but we get to hear him.
Nice little tease for a kid's show to introduce.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a long con.
Because he's so big. So yeah, it's like wow. And like for me, this was the first time I ever came across this character, Ra's al Ghul.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is where my love for him stems from.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the first time I was ever teased of Ra's ever.
Oh, for sure.
I was really excited. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And I recognized the voice as a kid. Now, I didn't know his name was David Warner as a kid, but I recognized his voice immediately, and I went, that's the fucking dude, the scientist, the professor or whatever, from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. I was like, that's the same voice. Like, I knew as a kid, I was like, that's the same fucking voice. And it is. It's David Warner, and that's awesome. Because, like, for me, I'm not the best at picking out every fucking voice, but like I could not have told you last week's episode, I Am the Night, that was Seth Green by listening to it, that he was playing the character Wizard at 18 years old. I could have said he sounds familiar to me, and I can't tell you who he is, but there's no way I could have told you that was Seth Green. And I could never have told you that Helen Slater was, obviously Talia al Ghul. She's doing too much of an accent change. But like David Warner's voice, I loved Secret of the Ooze so much that like I knew that voice, and I was just like, whoa, and that's huge. Like to be able to make those connections outside of the show you're watching as a kid and make it to other movies and things like that that you've watched, or other TV shows you may have watched as well. Honestly, I thought this was fun doing this episode with you, but I didn't think it was that great of an episode. I thought it was okay. I thought it was 3 out of 5 boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Vertigo character.
Yeah, once again, I thought that this was just a good storytelling in terms of introducing Talia. Like it was more like Vertigo you didn't really care about, and it was like Talia and Ra's al Ghul that was like so it was like kind of like a long con, and I thought it was a good introduction of them.
Kind of like Catwoman and Red Claw, where like you're more interested in Catwoman in that episode than you are at all about Red Claw.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Vertigo is more of a conduit to get to the Talia al Ghul story.
Yeah, it's like the introduction of them, so that the next time they don't have to go through. Like Batman's already kind of not trusting them, knows that Talia at least is like someone not to be trusted.
But also he's already started his infatuation for her too. So that way, when it gets further developed I'm pretty sure in that part 1 and part 2, they really get into like not only Batman being the heir of Ra's, but like marrying Talia.
Yeah, they want all that, and
and so that needed to be believable that it was a possibility for, Batman could marry Talia, and you kind of set it up here a little bit. Her introduction, you kind of can start that love affair a little earlier on.
For sure. Oh, did I give mine? I would give this one 4 boys.
4 out of 4 boys. Wow, perfect episode for you.
That's 4 out of 5.
It's 5 for me.
What?
I get an extra boy at night.
Oh my goodness.
Every night.
All right. Great bat stuff. See you next week.
Same bat time. Same bat podcast. Cool Boy Bat Nation, be sure to let us bat know what you bat thought of Off Balance, or what your favorite bat episode is by bat emailing us at batmanandbeyondcoolboys@gmail.com. New episodes come out every Tuesday, Also, check out our other great Cool Boys Central content with the Cool Boys Podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Patreon. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Cool Boys and review us on iTunes. Also, donate to us on Patreon. It only costs $1 and you will receive special access to content too hot to air. You can find the Cool Boys on Patreon at www.patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Bat Nation. Until next time, it's Byzies from Bat Ballard.
And that's Bat Byzies from Bat Steve.
So cool.
Batman
and beyond.
Oh, yeah.
Batman
and beyond.